Hi everyone, Emma Jane here with Dream It Quilted. I'm a quilt teacher and pattern designer, and today I'm so excited to be talking to you about the New England Quilt Museum just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. Now, I was able to go to this place because my husband had a business trip in Boston, and whenever he travels quite a bit for his work, and whenever he travels somewhere, I'm always like, is there anything near there that I would want to go do? And sometimes I tag along with him. So I looked around in Boston for something quilty to do, and I didn't really find anything, surprisingly. But then when I was doing a search, I found the New England Quilt Museum in Lowell, Massachusetts, and I was like, I'm going, sign me up. I'm gonna go with you to Boston. You go work, do your thing, and don't you worry about me. I will occupy myself. So it's about a 40-minute train ride, commuter train ride outside of Boston. And then you take a shuttle from the train station right to the Quilt Museum. I mean, the bus driver, I told him we were going to the Quilt Museum, and oh yeah, he's so friendly. All the bus drivers were so friendly there. And he dropped me off right at the front door. So really easy to get around there. The town is very, very nice to tourists. It's a national park in Lowell, Massachusetts. And what's really unique about the spot that they chose to put this museum at is Lowell is a former cotton mill town. And so being from North Carolina, where we grow cotton, it's really interesting to see what happens to the cotton after it goes through our cotton gins and is cleaned. And then it would go to places like Lowell, Massachusetts, where they would turn it into cloth. And so the cotton mills all around the Merrimack River in Lowell. Let me show you. This is what Lowell looks like all around the Merrimack River. And showing how the locks and the dams would fuel. They used what is it when it's water power? The hydroelectric power from the water is what they used to generate electricity back then, and so they used that to run the looms in the cotton mills. So the museums for the cotton mills are amazing, and there's a trolley ride, and you can take it to see down below the mills where the water would power these things. So it was just really cool. Very walkable city, very tourist friendly. But back to the museum. So I was so excited to learn about the New England Quilt Museum, and they had 3 exhibits that were going on while I was there. The first one was yellow, and it was quilts from their collection that featured yellow. So that was different because I always struggle with yellow in my quilts. And so I'm going to take you through that and show you the different quilts that were on exhibit for that in this video. And then in 2 separate videos, I'm going to show you the other exhibits that they had going on because they were bigger and the videos will be much longer. So those videos, one is the Stitch Punk exhibit. It was so cool. If you like steampunk, which is kind of the futuristic time machine, the gears and all the flying things. It's really cool in that imagery. And there have been lately some steampunk fabrics out there for quilters, even Christmas fabrics that I've used in a quilt that I did with one of my patterns. And so I was really excited. The Stitch Punk was just so cool. It was like something really unique. And it was making all of these cool things out of like thimbles and bobbins and seam rippers and scissors and just upcycling, really. So that was a really cool exhibit. Very unique. And then the other exhibit they had was by a quilt artist who she designs her quilts on computer. She creates her own fabric with photographs of nature that she takes, and then uses her stylus on her computer to design the quilts from a photograph. And so I'm going to take you through that exhibit because each one of the quilts had a little description telling the story of the person and their pet, whether it was a rabbit or a donkey or a cat or a dog. It's all different kinds of animals, so that was really fun. The only negative about the Quilt Museum, which this will not be an issue while you're there, there was no air conditioning, and it was hot. It was actually hotter that week at the end of May than it was in North Carolina that week. And so it was really, really stifling. But I didn't let it hinder me from having a great time and enjoying everything and taking my time while I was there. If you are never able to get to the New England Quilt Museum, you can become a member. And why you would want to become a member is because they have an extensive library of all types of books, magazines, literature, articles relating to quilts there. And if you're a member, you can check them out and they'll ship it to you. So that's something to look into if you're interested. And finally, their gift shop was really cute. I wish that they would put their gift shop online so that people could support you from afar. I'm just going to shout that out there. Maybe it'll get back to them. But some of the things I bought at the gift shop, and I actually have footage of the gift shop. I'll walk you around and show you everything. But Rebecca Barker, I love her quilt artwork, and they had some of her cards. Now she also has prints and calendars and puzzles that she does, I think calendars, that she does with her artwork. And I just love her things. I might frame some of these. And then the other thing I got, which I really love, very inspiring, they're called Carol's cards, and it says on the back here, it's a one-of-a-kind card made of remnants salvaged from a heavily damaged quilt made from the 30s, maybe circa 1930s to 1950s, dress and flour sack fabrics. And so she kind of just took sections of the quilt and then embellished it with a button and a charm, and I love it so much. Gives me an idea. I'm going to make some of these with some scraps that I have and have a lot of fun with it. So the gift shop, not to be missed. Of course, when you first walk in there, you walk straight into the gift shop. So they planned that very well. Okay, so let me tell you more about the museum. I'm going to show you some of the footage and enjoy. Okay, so here I am at the New England Quilt Museum in Lowell, Massachusetts, which is north, I think, of Boston. We took a bunch of trains and buses and walks and things to get here. So you see the cobblestone street behind me, and there's the museum. So pretty. It's kind of like this triangle-shaped building. I can't wait to see what's inside. Okay, the New England Quilt Museum is in this really cute location. That's annoying. So the New England Quilt Museum is in this really cute little side street area. And here is, as you're walking into the front, I just thought I would give you a glimpse. Sorry, this is a city. It's loud out here. Some glimpses inside, what it's like to walk to the front of the museum. And you'll see my mom there in a minute waiting for me. She's like, would you stop recording everything already? She's the one who got me into all this quilting. Ooh, here we go. Okay, and we're going around the building. Stylish jackets, it says. So cute. They're supposed to have a really good gift shop, but from what I could tell, the gift shop is not really available online. So here is the yellow exhibit, and I'm going to read you the sign that it said as you walked in. It is said that if a quilt contains more than 10% yellow, it is a yellow quilt. Yellow is a color that catches the eye, which is why it is used for things like caution road signs, safety vests, and road markings. Although yellow quilts became very popular in the 1930s, yellow quilts did appear even early in the 19th century. Early yellow textile dyes were from plants like weld from a Eurasian plant and quercitron from an inner bark of the black oak tree. After about 1840, chrome yellow, a mineral dye, was used. The quilts exhibited here span the years from circa 1830 to 2001. Some have only small but important pieces of yellow, and others are nearly all yellow. What I love about this quilt museum is that not everything is old. This one was made by Ursula Kern of Switzerland in the year 2001. It's called Yellow River. In the artist's words, the fabrics are sewn on foundation fabric and folded back in a way similar to log cabin construction. It allows her to sew any quality of fabric next to each other without wrinkles or blisters. Mostly she starts with the first fabric piece in a corner or at the side of the block. So it looks to me like kind of like Crazy Quilt, but it's more purposeful is how I interpret it. But she has salvaged fabrics here, including brocade, metallic, velvet, corduroy, and double knits. Machine pieced, and I love it. So this next one is a cigar silk table cover. The maker is unknown. It's hand-pieced and embroidered with silk ribbons. In the late 19th century, cigars were sold in bundles tied with a silk ribbon. The name of the cigar brand or some other advertising was usually printed on the ribbon. Most were yellow or gold, but red, blue, and green were also produced. While the gentlemen enjoyed their smokes, the ladies collected the colorful ribbons and sewed them into small quilts, pillow covers, and sometimes clothing. The ribbon fringe decorating this piece is unusual, and it is circa 1890. Next is the Little Women quilt, circa 1950, unknown maker, purchased in Nebraska. It says this quilt was made from the Little Women pattern, which was published in Ladies' Home Journal, October 1950. The quilt illustrated in a magazine was made in pinks, but the unknown maker of this quilt used yellows. And the piecing is really plain here. They probably made it big enough to go on their bed, but the applique is really beautiful and very well done. This is a triangle crib quilt, circa 1890, maker unknown. Crib quilts in good condition are rare textile survivors. Their purpose was to be used in the care of a baby or young child. This quilt displays a variety of fabrics popular in the last quarter of the 19th century. Double pinks, produced by printing on one or more shades of pink over another pink. Somber mourning prints, mourning meaning crying, and light-colored shirting prints. The quilter used yellows for a sashing and a border. This is 1991 in Belmont, Massachusetts by Sylvia Einstein. It's called Acid Rain. And she says the thin diagonal rectangles of orange, yellow, deep pink, and red represent the acid rain falling on dying vegetation in the various somber black, brown, gray, and blue squares, and on dying fish in the pink over-dyed green fabric. So sorry I didn't get a closer view of this one. It's a really edgy looking to me. I really think it's unique. This is a tumbling blocks silk quilt, circa 1900, unknown maker. It's English paper piecing, and it says the paper shapes were often cut from old letters, school papers, newspapers, or magazines. And then they were whip stitched together to make the quilt top. And this quilt, it says it has so many yellow pieces is unusual for this period and gives this quilt a more contemporary feel. And it had a lot of velvet in it and silks, so that was really cool. I should have gotten a little closer. I'll remember that for the next time. This is a grandmother's flower garden quilt circa 1935. It says, when the donor of this quilt cleaned out her mother-in-law's house, she found this quilt top in a trunk. She sent the top away to a group that did quality Amish quilting where it was quilted and finished. The edge finish is unusual for a hexagon quilt. It uses facings to finish the irregular edges of the quilt. Probably made by Harriet Donald, it says. And this on the bed is the Seven Sisters quilt, 1948, by Julia King in Salem, New York. And this pattern is based on Greek mythology. And it says it was inspired by the Pleiades, I don't know how to say it, guys, star cluster. Okay. It's found in a constellation in Taurus. Isn't this pretty? Thanks, guys. I'll get the rest of the videos recorded for the other parts of the museum as soon as I can, and you can see the rest.